Hey everybody, Jeff Flesh here again with you today. Today we're going to do 3 transformational leadership skills. And I wrote this blog, I don't know, some time ago. And so now I'm doing these videos to engage everyone in a different way. So let's take a look at these 3. So the first one I talk about in that blog is authenticity. And so what do I mean by authenticity? I mean being who you really are and being the same person at home that you are at work, and being authentic to yourself. And why is that important? So as you can see, all 3 of these will end up in high quality relationships. And so if you're in a relationship, or when you're in a relationship with yourself in a high quality manner, and you know who you are and you know what you stand for, you're able to be authentic with staff and to give them everything that you have. And inside of being authentic is also being vulnerable, and being vulnerable to things that we don't know about. And as leaders, that can make us scared and concerned. And see my facial expression I get? And yet what I'm inviting you to is the understanding, which has been written about for thousands of years, is that all human beings know far less than we know. And so it's okay to stand in the unknown. And actually in that vulnerable spot of unknown, you get back so much more. And that's where true innovation occurs. So authenticity with yourself and who you are, and then being authentic with staff members and your colleagues and team is extremely important and transformational when it's enacted upon. The second one is safety. And I actually wrote a separate blog on safety because I think it's so important. And in this team I'm on currently, when we first came together, lots of vulnerability and lots of feeling of being unsafe. And that was just the nature of how things occurred. And so that first year, we spent getting to know each other and creating that safety with each other. And inside of authenticity and then creating that safety, you get more vulnerability. You get the possibility, because there's trust. So you can be out on a branch, I like to say, or out in front of an open abyss of unknown with each other, and basically holding each other's hands, because you know it's okay, because you know you're safe with the people that you are surrounded by, and because they equally know that they're safe with you, and so they can go out and be vulnerable and try new things and say things what's so for them, and get out ideas from within them that maybe in a typical, or rather a different context, they would be shied back from. Because if who people are with, they're not authentic, people know that if you're not being authentic, and people know when they're not in a safe environment. And so when they don't have those things, it's less likely that they'll be vulnerable. And when there's less vulnerability, there's less innovation and there's less traction. And I tell you now, boy, have we never needed more vulnerability and more innovation than we do today inside of the great unknown that is the COVID-19 pandemic. So again, authenticity and safety are really important. Transformational, in fact. And the last one is transparency. And so I know when I got on this team and we started talking about the budget, I write about that in the blog. I started writing about, or rather talking with them about what the numbers look like. I got from people like, wait a minute, you're going to talk to me about the numbers? I get to see those? Yeah, transparency is really, really important. And being with people and letting them see inside of all the different systems and all the different processes. Sometimes leaders, and I know in my first 6 months on this job, I was like this, sort of holding everything tightly, like, oh, this is mine and I can't show this because of this, or I'm concerned about showing this over here. And the only invitation I have on that is to let go of it. And the only way you can do that is by practicing letting go of it. And what I mean by that is, if you're not sharing and being openly communicative with your team, they know it. And inside of lack of communication is a lack of movement. And it's the lack of movement not only for your team, and a lack of movement for your organization or business. It's a lack of movement for the world, because as I've talked about in other videos, we're all in a relationship, and those relationships go out further from yourself, your family, your work, organization, community, onto the world. And so when we don't have those relationships with each other, everything sort of gets stuck. It's not just the organization or the business, but also the community can get stuck inside of not being able to innovate and create. And boy, again, just to reiterate how important that is today with so much unknown, because we'll need to recreate or we're already recreating lots of ways to be and do business and interact with people and engage with people. I just did a Monday message for our team about that, about the engagement and relationship building this next year and things we'll need to do that we've never done before. So anyway, that is 3 transformational leadership skills that once developed can create really high quality relationships. And it's inside of those high quality relationships that we have that we can not only create movement in our team's business and organization, but we can create traction, which means that you start to move and you start to bring everybody with you and you start to innovate and you start to create things that have never been seen before. So anyway, that is it for today. And so I appreciate the time with you as always. Have a wonderful week. Stay healthy and well, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.